Welcome to the program. I'm Billy Wright for Clear Channel and Community Matters. Today we are welcoming to the studio the director. Is that your correct title, Joseph?
Sure.
Director of Boys to Men, Girls to Women?
Executive director, but the longer the name, the smaller the check. So let's go with director.
And Joseph Perry, do you go by Joe or Joseph?
Joseph.
Joseph?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I was gonna bring up the famous guitarist there, of course, Joe Perry.
Right.
From Aerosmith. I wanted to ask you what was going on with
that's why
Steven Tyler.
That's why I said Joseph, because I know I get confused sometimes.
You get that all the time, don't you?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, darn. Well, I thought, maybe, of course, with the name of the organization as well, Boys to Men, we've got the whole music thing going on.
Right. That would be cool, huh? Joe of Aerosmith crosses over to Boys to Men. That would be great.
And I told reception when I was expecting you. I said, "Yeah, it's Joe Perry and Boys to Men," and we all got a kick out of it.
Right. How do those two? Is that an oxymoron, huh?
Yeah, just a little different style going on. Well, I got to tell you that I had your name referred. Your organization came to me by a referral.
Oh, good.
All right, from one of our employees in the building, and I don't know a lot about the organization.
Sure.
So you're going to not only again be educating me, but you're going to be educating our listeners in the process. When I heard the name of the organization, Boys to Men, Girls to Women, I of course started thinking along the lines of some really famous clubs like the Boys and Girls Club,
Sure.
and even Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Absolutely.
And I that was where my first thoughts went, and I thought, okay, how are you similar? How do you differ?
Well, first of all, Boys to Men, Girls to Women Foundation, we added the Girls to Women piece to it. We only used to be called Boys to Men Foundation.
Okay.
But now we're Boys to Men, Girls to Women.
Okay.
So that should clarify that we are not the music group. Okay.
Got that straight now.
And it's strange because it took us about 5 years in the organization to add the piece Girls to Women.
Yeah.
And the founders of this organization, and I was one of them, I guess we were similar to like other organizations. When Big Brothers first started, it used to only be called Big Brothers, and then later on they added Big Brothers Big Sisters.
All right, gotcha.
Remember when the Boys Club started, it used to only be called the Boys Club.
Right.
Then they added Boys and Girls Club.
Right.
When Boy Scouts started, it used to only be called Boy Scout, and then they added Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. And one of the premises behind that is that we are aware that we have a serious problem in America. I mean, we're aware that there's no one argues about that. And the idea or the thought process is that if we just get the men right, if we just if we straighten up the boys, straighten up the men, then it would kind of ease and cure the problem in America. But later on, we found out, as we did recently, that the problem is not with just the young boys. The young girls are having serious problems as well.
All disadvantaged youth. Struggling. It gets harder all the time, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And then that word disadvantage now, it used to only be limited to just a minority group, but disadvantages now is cross-culture. It's amazing how many people we help in Clovis, how many people we help in North Fresno. It's just absolutely just staggering when you hear some of the statistics. Matter of fact, I'll share a couple of them with you. One of the reasons why we got started 10 years ago, this is we're going on our 10th year anniversary.
Okay, and you're actually one of the founders.
I'm here. I've been here since the
Day
first
one.
ink hit the napkin in the restaurant. Yes. Okay, so I've been here since day one. Yes. And one of the reasons why we actually opened up our organizations, because if you look at the statistics here in Fresno, Fresno County's dropout rate just absolutely blew us away. We're sixth highest in the nation.
Wow.
We have the sixth highest school dropout rate in the nation.
Well, that's a terrible number.
And that was amazing, especially when you look at school districts like cities and states like New York and New Jersey and Philadelphia and Los Angeles. To know that we are that high was just absolutely staggering. We lose an average of 2,000 children per year here in Fresno.
Wow.
And each year we consistently lose over 2,000 children per year.
Right.
I think there's only 1 year in the last 10 years where we lost only 1,997 children.
Right.
Okay.
Right. That was a good year.
That was a good year. yeah. But then
exactly.
we went as high as 2,200 children.
Wow.
Which means if the statistics continue, school will be out in 6 months. In 6 months, another 2,000 children will just disappear from school. You see?
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things that gripped us when we were looking at the numbers in Fresno. Another thing that we noticed is that the teen pregnancy rate in Fresno. Now, everybody hears about it. We like, oh yeah, it's high, it's high. No. It's not just high. We're third highest in the nation.
Oh my gosh.
We have the third highest. We send here in Fresno more youth to the juvenile justice system per capita than any county in California. And all these numbers, if you just Google children count California and just look at the website and just look at the numbers and you do the number crunching, you'll realize, you'll say, wow, we do have an issue here in Fresno. Okay, and it's been like that for years and years and years. Okay, and so as it relates to the dropout rate, here's something that was pretty staggering to us, that was different from any county in California. The highest concentration of dropouts, we would think, would be the 12th grade, or maybe even the 11th grade. Surely not anything lower than that. But we have the highest concentration of dropouts in the 9th grade.
Really?
Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing.
Now,
so they're not even really going to high school.
How old are you in the 9th grade?
Like 15?
15
maybe?
or 14?
Yeah,
Can
something
you
like
believe
that, I guess.
Can you imagine telling your dad, Dad, I'm 14 years old and I've learned all I'm going to learn. I'm done. I'm going to start my life. Can you imagine that?
No.
We lose more 9th graders than almost any. As a matter of fact, here's what's staggering about that. There's only 3 counties in California where the highest concentration of dropouts is in the 9th grade: Fresno, San Bernardino, and there's 1 county in the Bay Area. And that baffles us. We can't quite figure that out. Even in Bakersfield, that has a similar demographics, their highest concentration, their kids are at least making it to they're at least making it to the 12th grade.
Right.
Isn't that amazing?
Which it would. It makes perfect sense if you think of a dropout and you think they're going to be doing that towards the end of their high school experience. Certainly not right at the very beginning, and they're just not going. They're just not. It sounds like they're hitting that point, and do they ever even step foot inside a high school?
Right. Which is why, if you look at the history of the school districts here in Fresno, I couldn't understand. But I graduated a few years ago. 1984, just a few years ago. Just a few years ago. But when I was in the 9th grade, they had 9th grade only schools.
Oh, okay.
Many people don't remember that, but some of the audience will remember. I went to Sierra Freshman School. They had 9th grade only schools because this problem has been consistent around for a long time.
Wow. Okay.
And that didn't work.
Now, see, I had the 7th, 8th, 9th combined junior high school as they used to be known.
Sure. So remember, think about it. When you was there, it was 7th, 8th, 9th grade.
Correct.
Still didn't work. We had a problem with 9th graders.
Right.
They then moved the 9th graders to their own to a school where it was nothing but 9th graders.
Right.
Still have the problem.
Still didn't work.
Now the 9th graders with the high schoolers. You see?
Yeah.
Still. So
But our numbers are still up.
The numbers are still up.
So what are we trying to do to combat this huge? I mean, these numbers are staggering. The figures that you've been giving me with the 3rd highest pregnancy rate, the 6th in the nation and overall dropout. It's like, wait a second, what's going on with Fresno?
What's going on? And you know what? You can almost see the children when you go to the movies and when you go out, as a family. It's almost as if you can see the children who are either on their way to dropping out or who have dropped out. They just kind of hang out. And we see them all the time. And when we see them, I can remember saying to my wife, wow, look at these kids, man. These kids are hanging out. Remember, they got kicked out of River Park because they were hanging out all night. They couldn't go to River Park. I mean, they're just hanging out.
Right.
Okay? And so after a while, the founders of this organization couldn't just sit there and just look at it and just do nothing.
Right.
We just couldn't do nothing anymore. We had to do something.
Right.
Okay. Not quite knowing what to do, but we had to do something. So here is what we came up with. Okay. We know that the problem is a family issue.
Exactly.
I mean, it boils back down to the absence of a nuclear family.
Exactly.
Okay. And so we I don't know if you know that Dr. James Dobson is one of the family gurus in America. Okay, he has 12 PhDs in family and therapy. I don't know
Why?
what this man. I don't know what this man was doing, but he has 12. And listen, and he has some good material. Now he declares that in order for a child to grow up to be a most productive child, a child needs to have in a family an equal amount of love and discipline. Okay,
Absolutely.
he says a child
There
has
needs
to
to be
have
control.
It can be 70-30 on the love side. It can be 60-40 on the discipline side. It needs to have an equal amount of love and discipline. Okay, and so generally that's why a two-parenting situation really works.
Right.
Because boys, for the most part, get their discipline from who?
The dad.
Their daddy.
Yeah.
And they get their spoiledness and their love from who?
The mama.
From the mama, right? Some of you are dating some of them. You call them mama's boys. You know, you're dating some of them. They're mama's boys, right? Okay.
Yeah, we've probably seen a few of those.
Right. But girls, it's flip-flop. Girls get their love and spoiledness from who?
Daddy,
right. And they get their discipline and their toughness from mama. I have a daughter, and she's 19 now, but when she was growing up and just started, menstrual cycles and stuff, she would come in crying, "Oh, daddy." I said, "What's up, baby? My tummy hurt." I said, "Oh, poor baby." But her mother, on the other hand, "Get up, girl. Take these pills. You gotta be tough in this world.
You gotta learn how to deal with it."
That's right. You gotta be tough in this world. Get up. It's like, hey, easy. But it's the balance.
It is, and it's a beautiful balance.
That's necessary.
Yeah.
You see?
Absolutely.
But the problem is we live in a society where these children are coming out of the womb in balance because single parenting is on the rise.
Yeah.
It's 60-70% now.
And you can still do it. I'm a single parent. So in defense of what I have hopefully pulled off,
sure,
a successful single parent.
Absolutely.
And I have 2 beautiful children. I'm very proud of them, but it's a battle, and I'll be the first one to say, bring on the 2 parts and make it a whole unit.
Right.
That's how it works the best.
Right. Well, you are forced to play a dual role.
You are, and it's not one you want to play all the time.
Sure, right.
It's just too tough. And exactly, there's been nothing more that would reinforce the point you're making than because of my own personal experience.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So these poor mothers are forced to play a dual role, and so I know I get sometimes get hate mail and sharp emails when I make this point to these men. A lot of men who are absent from their sons, who are absent from the home, they spend they spend quite a few years badgering the mother. You're spoiling that boy. You need to make the boy. You're spoiling that boy. And well, that's what moms do. If you don't like her spoiling the boy, you get back where you're supposed to be into the household, and you provide the other balance.
Right.
So what Boys to Men, Girls to Women Foundation do is each child that is referred to our organization, our goal is to provide the missing link.
Okay.
You see,
right.
So when a girl is referred to our foundation, and all she has is mother in her life, okay, it's amazing how mad and angry and bitter she is, because according to Dr. Dobson, if a child is imbalanced, okay, a child that grows up heavy on the discipline side, he's mean. That child is bitter. They're kind of hard. They're kind of angry. And if a child grows up heavy on the love side, the child is spoiled rotten. And they're kind of they're spoiled. I don't know how to they're
Right.
spoiled. Okay,
Right.
And so
Weak.
Yeah, they're
Weakness.
weak and they're spoiled.
There's
Okay,
weakness.
and so. When a child is referred to us, our goal is we send the child on a series of interviews, and our goal is to provide the missing link. Okay, if a daughter comes in, if a girl comes in, and she's bitter and she's mean and she's hard, and there's nothing. The hardest time I've ever had with children are hard girls. It's easier to deal with hard boys than bitter, hard girls. My goodness, because
We're tough.
Yes. And so what that girl needs more than anything, she needs a male in her life.
Right.
Okay, to provide the balance.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And when a young man comes in, or a boy comes in, and he's raised by father only, he likewise is hard. He likewise is tough. Well, he don't need somebody like me. He needs somebody like you. You see?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
He needs somebody
Trying to get that balancing influence.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Now I know it's not the family.
Right.
But it's the next best thing, It's all we've got, okay. And so each child, our goal is to surround that child with an aunt figure, an uncle figure, and a grandparent figure.
Oh,
you see.
Okay.
So the kids will call me Uncle Joe.
Gotcha.
And they will call you Auntie
Billy.
Aunt Billy. You see how that works? Okay. Because that's the role we play in their lives.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Big brothers, big sisters, good, but that wasn't. That just didn't do it for us. My big brother kind of slapped me around and picked on me and beat me up a little bit,
Whoa.
Okay, we fought. Okay.
Whoa.
But my uncle took me fishing.
Don't want that kind of big brother.
No, but my uncle took me fishing.
Right.
Love. But my uncle told me, button up your lip, man. Pull those pants up, boy.
Right.
Did I hear you talk to your mother like that? You
Right.
see?
Right.
It provided that love and discipline.
Right.
Okay, and the respect that we needed.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And it's amazing because most of the children who are referred to our organization, they're failing in school. They emotionally got problems. They're not doing things at home. That the list goes on.
Everything. There's multiple problems. Right.
And bad grades in school, we discovered, is a symptom. It's not a problem. Bad grades has nothing to do with someone's level of intelligence.
Right.
Most of these kids with all Fs will turn on that computer and swim circles around you on the computer.
Absolutely. They're just not trying.
They'll help you figure out how to do the computer.
Right.
They can figure out these complex video games in 30 minutes.
Oh, hey, I get some new piece of technology in my home, and I hand it to the kids.
Sure.
Here, figure this out, how to work it, and then show me.
So there's not a brain problem there.
No.
There's not a learning disability there.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So we discovered that bad grades is a symptom.
Sure.
It's not the problem. A symptom is a sign that there is a problem. Your runny nose is a symptom. You can wipe all day long.
Right.
But unless you put something on the inside of you to stop that runny nose, you're going to still have that symptom, right?
Sure,
Okay?
absolutely.
So a lot of times we treat the wrong issue. Get the grades up, 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 get the grades up. Okay?
Yeah.
And when we start dealing with the child and finding out what the real problem is, okay, issues at home,
Right.
issues with loneliness,
Right.
issues with a bad relationship with the parent.
Wherever it's coming from.
Wherever it's coming from.
Right.
Okay.
How are children referred to your organization?
Well, the way children are referred, first of all, let me tell you how they're not referred. Okay. Right. We tried this one time. Okay. We went to a school district one time and we advertised on the radio. Open enrollment, now enrolling.
Okay.
One school called us and said, I have 500 children who need your program. Okay. How do you want me to send them to you? You're like, whoa, hey, whoa, okay. So that's not how this interview is not a open enrollment interview, okay?
Right.
Because we know the calls will come in by the hundreds, okay? And we're just not yet equipped to handle those, all right? But children are referred to us by school teachers. We have if you go to our website, we have a child referral form. Okay, you have to download the form, complete it, and send it to us. Okay, they're referred by school teachers. They're referred by some parents. They're referred by counselors. We even have some police officers who have called us and said, "Man, I have this child that really think could use your program." Okay,
Is this a purely local organization?
yeah, it's local and it's amazing because someone said one time before, "There's nothing new under the sun." And so 10 years ago when we came up with this great name, we were like, oh, wow, we've never heard of this before. Oh, my goodness, wow. As soon as we Googled it, we found out there are pockets of similar organizations with the same name, Boys to Men Foundation, all over the nation.
But,
yeah, right.
But this is local.
We haven't developed chapters yet of bringing them all together. So
Okay.
this is totally local.
Okay, and the referrals again come from all different people that are obviously involved with children on a regular basis and see some of these behavior problems and say, hey, this might be of benefit for this individual.
Absolutely. But like I said, this is not a open enrollment. I would even turn it into a volunteers needed, mentors needed.
And that's what's my next question is. Obviously, the mentors are who's really playing the biggest role here in helping these kids out. So I bet you're constantly in need of those role models.
Oh yes, we are constantly in need of those role models. Recently, we've had a large influx of college students. Actually,
Oh, good.
I am so impressed with our college students, oh my goodness, we probably had 18 new college students in the last 6 or 7 months who have become a part of our organization.
Oh, wonderful!
And we at first when we first started, we used to we looked for old guys like me, and it's
going to be hard to call them uncle and aunt if they're 22.
Hey, but you know what? It's hard, but the kids respect them more. They look up to them more. Okay.
Well, I can see that they're going to relate a little bit better.
Sure, they relate a little better. And the kids that go to Fresno State and Fresno City, we're not attracting. If you look at the demographics of our city, we're not attracting the Ivy League students. These are kids who had hard times,
right?
Who grew up, with their parents working the fields, who grew up with these kids can understand what it's like to live without PG&E for a while. These kids can understand what it's like to struggle. So they make great, wonderful mentors. Also, because we have a tutoring program attached, where we're tutoring 4 days a week. Okay, these college students are able to relate to these kids, and actually they can help them with their algebra much better than I can. Although I was good at math, but it's been 20 years since I've done algebra. And the reason why that works is because it's amazing. It does not take long for children, these youth, to start admiring the ones who are spending time with them. And so when they start admiring these college students, they want to be like these college students.
Right.
And if you want to be like me, you stay in school and you go to college.
See a success story,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. That's neat. That's great. What kind of activities do you guys do with the kids? Anything and everything? Is there a very structured program in addition to, let's go hang out and do some really fun stuff that's casual or both, mixture of both maybe?
Absolutely. Well, this is the difference between when you asked in the beginning, the Boys and Girls Club and us and Big Brothers and us. The program is more academic focused. And especially because we are so aware of the dropout rate. Okay.
Yeah, right.
And we are so aware of the fact that our reading and writing scores across the nation are at the bottom. Okay. We're so aware that we're just labeled the dumbest city in America,
Right.
Okay. So we focus more on the academic side.
Right.
We want to make academics fun. We want to make learning fun. We want to make, we have learning computer games. We want to get, as a matter of fact, we have a serious conversation about them being behind in their reading and writing. Okay. And we do like a little rah-rah rally in our individual appointments about, listen, you're behind, but you don't have to stay behind. Okay.
Right.
Your brain is more powerful than anything you have. Okay. And we're going to help you catch up. But I need you to let me help you catch up, man. Okay.
Right.
You're smarter than what these grades, sir. You're better than what these grades are. I know. I'm talking to you now. You're a great young man.
Right.
You're an incredible young man. We just have to show the world. Now, if you let me, I'll help you catch up and show the world. You follow me?
Right.
And by the time we get done, they're charged. They're like, okay, let's do it, man.
Ramped up, ready to go.
Let's do it, man. Now, it's going to take double work. It's going to take a lot of work.
Right.
We'll read together. We'll do work together. We'll do all that kind of stuff. But we can catch up, man.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So we're more academic focused, and kids.
But digging in for some one-on-one and. That's going to make all the difference in the world, I'm sure, and again, that enthusiasm is contagious right then. I was getting all excited to go back. Yeah. I want to do it.
Yes, I want to do it. And see the way our tutoring program, we tutor 4 days a week. We use some of the youth centers to tutor kids. We're at Einstein Park 2 days a week. We're at Ivy Center 2 days a week. And next year we'll be looking at other centers, which is why I'll put this plug in. They're trying to close our parks.
Well, I know there's some stuff going on that's, budget-wise affecting everything. You're right about that.
We were at the city council fighting that because, these parks and recs, maybe we told them, maybe you all don't know. It's called Parks and Recs, but there's some serious learning going on in these parks and recs.
So you're using those as gathering places for the work that you're doing.
Yeah, because like, for example, we have targeted 5 elementary schools here in Fresno. And these 5 elementary schools have tested in the bottom 5 percentile in the state over the last 5 consecutive years. Okay. And the centers are hubs. Instead of going from school to school to school, we tell the kids to come to this one particular location, and we have the college students meet them there.
Right.
And it's just like a big old huge
Right.
tutorial center, man. I
Right.
mean, it's an amazing place. And so when they were talking about closing them, it was like, oh my goodness,
Right.
that's terrible. So we fought it, and thank God they did get it extended for an additional 8 months. So
Right.
I'm a Save Our Parks advocate here. Okay, all right. But the way our tutoring program works is that first of all, we pre-assess the child when they first get
Well,
there.
you said they went through, I don't know how many interviews. What was there, like 11 different levels of
Well, it's
interviews
not
or something?
quite that many, but
Yeah.
about 3. But
About
we want to
3?
know where they are emotionally. We interview
Okay.
the parents.
So different.
We interview
Okay.
the child by themselves. We interview them together, and then we do a academic assessment.
Okay.
We can't. We go in with the premises assuming that if you're in the 6th grade, chances are you're not reading or writing on the 6th grade level.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but the way this school system is, it will not make it. They will pass you. Okay, they pass our kids. Okay, so if you're in the 6th grade, you're not reading and writing and doing math on the 6th grade level. So we need to figure out exactly what level are you really on.
Right,
Okay?
that's the
So-
first step.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Well, that
when we
makes sense.
determine that you're on a 4th grade level in math, okay, the homework that you're getting from school is 6th grade level homework because that's all the teachers required to give you.
So you've given up. Those kids have given up, basically.
Exactly.
Right.
And so what we do is we pull out, we have math, 4th grade level math worksheets. Our job in 1 year is to catch you up from 4th to 6th grade.
Okay.
Okay.
So about a year is what you try to shoot for? And
We can catch you up in a year because remember, we are focusing. I mean, these kids come in to our tutoring program and they've received the "we're going to catch you up" speech, and they're excited about it. Okay,
Right.
and they're excited
Fired
about
up
it.
and ready to
Okay,
go.
and then we don't give them a whole book. Right, we give them 10 worksheet pages at a time.
Okay.
And we pay them $1 for each worksheet that they complete.
Woo!
Yeah, right. Oh yeah, they're juice. Woo, $1. That's right. So they're doing these
Bring
worksheets.
it.
Boom. They're doing worksheets. Boom. Now, it's not real dollars. Okay, right.
All right. What do we got?
They're called Boys to Men bucks.
Okay.
Okay. All right. It's not real dollars. They're called Boys to Men bucks. But these dollars. They need them to buy food, snacks.
Right. There's
chips,
a reward involved.
Right.
Sure.
When we took a 25 bunch of kids to the Harlem Globetrotters, it cost $32 to go.
Okay, gotcha.
We'll be going to Disney on Ice. It costs these dollars to go.
Very
so
cool.
these kids are really earning this money.
That's neat.
Isn't
That's
that neat?
neat.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, so
I love it. I love it.
having the dollars, the Boys to Men bucks, it provides a disciplinary system also. See, so when a child is misbehaving and a child doesn't want to listen, you give them a warning. The next one he said it's going to cost you $10 next time I have to tell you.
Gotcha.
Oh, they don't want to lose their
taking
money.
it away.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Don't take my money. Okay.
Right.
And so when they turn in progress reports, for each A on the progress report, they get $5.
Cool.
For each B, they get $3. For each C, they get $2 or something like that. F's, we take $1,
You
$2.
take it away.
Right. D's, we take money, unless, and we've had this situation a couple times, right? Unless you go from an F to a D.
Well, that's
See,
a
if you
step
go from
up.
it's a step up, right? We're going to reward you for that
Sure.
because the premises of child behavior is rewarded behavior will be repeated. You see? That's why the class clown continues to be a class clown.
Because he keeps getting the laugh.
Because the other kids keep rewarding him.
Sure.
Okay?
Absolutely.
And so we even had a child come into our program that had like a 20% F. And he went from a 20% F one week to a 50% F the next week. That's a 30-point improvement.
Right.
We paid him for that.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And then the next week he went from a 30% F because he liked that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, from a 50% F to a 60% D.
Right.
You see?
Right.
And so when you start rewarding kids for this kind of stuff,
Right.
it's amazing how it just transformed their thinking, man.
Right.
Remember, they don't have a learning problem. They have a motivation problem. They have issues at home. They got all kind of other stuff going on. So when you target the real problem, the issue of grades take care of themselves.
Right. I love it. Sounds wonderful. Now, what age of children do you guys deal with primarily?
Well, our focus is children between the ages of 6 and 14.
Okay.
And the reason why we said 6 and 14, because remember, the dropout rate.
We hit that ninth grade wall for one thing.
Right. And so if they're dropping out at the age of 14, the problem didn't start at the age of 14.
Right.
If you go back and ask that child's 5th grade teacher, are you surprised that little Michael dropped out in the 9th grade? That 5th grade teacher was telling you,
No.
Nope.
It was already there.
I saw that problem a long time ago.
Right.
Nobody did nothing about it.
Right.
You see?
Absolutely.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, so you're actually getting to the problem because you figure by the time they make it to that point in reaching high school, if they're a good student already, then chances are they're going to go ahead and figure out and go on to college and become a productive adult that they're certainly capable of. Now, how long do you try? You said about a year on the program that you could turn somebody around, and that's probably the max that you're going to be looking at having someone in the program. How many times a week do you guys get together?
The tutoring program is 2 days a week.
Just 2 days a week is
yes.
all.
That's all.
That's not a lot.
That's not a lot, but that's what the funds allow us to.
Okay.
All right. We of course we're operating on limited funds, so we do 2 days a week in North Fresno, 2 days a week in West Fresno. So Tuesday, Thursday, North Fresno. Wednesday, Friday, West Fresno.
Okay.
So we alternate, okay? And our college students are going back and forth to both sites. So they're working 4 days a week. Isn't that cool?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's wonderful.
So we're hopefully some of this presidential funds or actually even.
Well, how are you funded?
Well, we're funded just like most nonprofit organizations are funded. Okay, many people think that most nonprofit organizations are funded by grants. Okay, just start a nonprofit organization. I'm sure they're getting grants and grants and grants. No, absolutely.
You got to fight for those.
yeah. The funds that nonprofit organizations receive, 70% of the funds across the nation come from individual donors.
Really?
Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing.
Only 4% come from grants across the nation.
Do you have some big sponsors in Fresno?
Medium ones. Not small
medium?
ones. Actually. We have a bunch of small
big ones.
Yeah, we can use some big ones.
Okay.
Well, if we have
I love the program.
Sure.
I love it. So,
we have
spread the word.
Yeah, we have very small sponsors and donors, and we have programs where people are donating $20 a month and $100 a month.
Right.
And all these make a big difference. Okay.
Right.
We do a lot of in-kind donations where I can't donate money, but I can give you my car. Our Cars for Kids program is probably in the past have been one of our most effective programs. Where people actually donate cars, trucks, boats, motorcycles to our foundation. We've had over 500 of those donated in the last 6 years.
Really?
Okay. Yes. And about 10 or 15% of them we give them away to needy families, but the rest we turn over, we fix them up. We have volunteers come and work on them, and we actually sell them to the public. So the majority of our funds come from people like you.
Okay. All right. Well, let's spread the word then and let people know how, if they want to get involved, also, again, which we could touch on more in just a second, with their time and efforts through volunteer work. But how do we reach the organization? Phone numbers, website, give that out?
Oh, yeah. Our website is www.boystomengirls2women.org. Now, the 2 is not the Roman numeral 2. That's the singing group. Okay? It's 2, the number 2.
The number 2.
The number 2. So
gotcha.
boys, 2 men, girls, 2 women.org. Okay.
.org, okay.
.org. And the phone number is 559-225-9300. That's 225-9300.
And your location is all over the place. You go out to where you need to go, to the areas that are needy, the most needy.
Yeah, but our corporate office is right there on 6th Street, 5150 North 6th Street, near Fresno State. That's in between, it's near Bulldog Lane, in between First and Cedar. So that's where the corporate office, where the hub is. So the students come there, sign in, get the work. We do the training, the tutoring training, and then we dispatch them out to the various neighborhoods.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay? So right now we're in North Fresno and we're in West Fresno. Our goal over the next couple of years is to have a site in east and west, north, south, east, west. I mean, we need them all over.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're looking at expanding then.
Expanding, absolutely.
And you've been around for 10 years.
10 years. Can you believe that?
And 10 years. How much has that, or what's different now from the inception 10 years ago, how much has the organization grown?
It's grown because at first, when we first started, it's amazing. We were servicing kids just everywhere. I mean, we were going to Parlier, and we were going to here to Clovis, and we were going
all around the valley.
The valley. But yeah, so the last 3 or 4 years, we decided to concentrate on areas, different pockets. So, like I said, we targeted 3 schools in North Fresno, and we targeted 2 in West Fresno, and so those are the schools where our primary focus is. Okay, the 3 schools here in North Fresno, if I can, let me see my memory: Powell Elementary, Thomas Elementary, and Centennial. Okay, that's around Gettysburg, Millbrook, in that area.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so those are 3 elementary schools that we targeted. Those 3 elementary schools have tested below over the last 5 consecutive years.
Oh,
okay.
Right.
And then the 2 schools in West Fresno. All right, we are aware of the fact that in East Fresno there are school areas that are just need just some kind of support so bad, and our goal is to move out there in the next 4 or 5 years, and we have a vision of actually having at least 5 buildings where kids can come to, and we'll turn them into technology centers. We have computer labs in these different places. It's the vision is big.
This is your vision. This is your want list.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, any building out there, I drive by buildings and see them abandoned. I say, man, I can turn that into a center. That's incredible.
That's what's going on right now, Joseph. You're absolutely right. There's a lot of buildings that are just sitting there empty, and maybe approaching some of these owners and talking to them. There's a lot of that going on right now.
Oh,
there's a lot of that going on right now. Wouldn't a little something be better than nothing at all?
Absolutely.
If you might be able to swing something. Now, do you have a background in education? Was that your career previously, or what was your motivation? I know you said you're one of the founders, and I'm assuming there was more than one person getting this organization started in the first place. What a little bit about that history?
Well, my motivation is because, first of all, I have 3 sons.
Oh, you do?
That's motivation.
Right. Well, you were talking about your girl.
Yeah, I have 3 boys as well. Okay. Right? And number 2, I'm from a family of 10.
Oh, wow.
Okay? And there's 5 boys.
Okay. All right.
And so and my father did 26 years in the military. Okay, so I'm a military brat. Okay, so I've traveled around the world almost so much. Okay, and then my father's also a pastor. So
Okay.
So that's discipline to the 2nd degree. Okay. Right.
All right. And double whammy.
And because there were so many of us, my life was out of balance. It was discipline. And by the age of 18, I was a mean, angry, just bitter child, man. I'm telling you, I was mad. I was angry at the world because it was during the time when they didn't have CPS, and you got whippings and spankings, and corporal punishment that's the way we were raised. Okay, and so I grew up pretty angry, bitter, and that bitterness almost cost me my life.
Okay, so personal experience.
Yeah, it almost cost me my life, man. Okay, it almost cost me my life. I've been homeless. I've been,
You rebelled.
Yeah. So I did start off, with the goal of being a teacher, and I remember taking the CBS test, and I remember looking at what I can't do as a teacher. You see, and that bothered me. Because there's so much stuff you can't do as a teacher. And I thought about becoming a teacher to shape kids' lives. But there's so much you can't do as a teacher. I decided to take another path because I'm not under the same restrictions being a director of a nonprofit organization that teachers are. So here's a man who had both parents. You follow me?
All right.
And all I know is mom and dad. And we always had a great life. I mean, a military dad, a child, all I know is my mom being home. I don't know what it's like to come home and not have my mom there. But yet I almost didn't make it. I've been in the hospital twice, almost dead. You see?
Sounds like you took your hurt and you're doing a wonderful thing here.
Yes. And then probably the biggest kicker, I was working in Los Angeles, and I was I was working as the church I went to, and I know it's not a religious thing, but you asked me where it came from.
Sure.
So I was teaching youth at a church, junior high kids, and I noticed that many of the junior high kids that I was teaching couldn't read the Bible I was teaching out of.
Oh,
They couldn't
right.
read it. And I remember going and saying, hey, man, these kids can't read. These kids can't, and once
Right. How are we gonna move forward
they
here?
can't even spell Bible.
Right.
Okay? You want me to teach them about salvation, all that? They can't even spell the same words I'm teaching out of. And that bothered me a lot. Okay, that bothered me a lot. Okay, because the church didn't have an answer for that. And so one boy in particular was very rambunctious, just bad. And I actually kicked him out of the little class. And I said, you don't come back to my class until I meet your parents. Did you catch that? I mean, I had both parents after all. Doesn't everybody?
Right.
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 This is when I lived in a world where I just wasn't knowledgeable about the kids on the other side of the track. And the lady came back the next Sunday. She says, you kicked my son out of the church? She go, I said, no, you don't understand, ma'am. She go, no, you don't understand. She said, this is a church, man. She said, you kicked my son out of the church? She said, my son has been kicked out of 3 schools. He's been kicked out of the Boys and Girls Club. He's been kicked out of the Big Brothers program. She said, now you're kicking him out of the church? She said, if I can't come to church to get help, where else can I go?
Right.
And you know what? As you can tell, I'm one who has a lot to say. I had no answer to that question. I said,
Made you stop and think.
and then I said, I'll tell you what, ma'am. I'll pay attention to your son. I said, I don't have a lot of money, nothing. Okay. But you bring him on Sunday, okay? And you meet me during the week. I'll come pick him up and I'll pay attention to him.
And that was your first mentoring job.
Oh my God. I can remember him one time with a tear in his eye. I said, what's wrong? He said, you really do care, huh?
No.
Is it?
Stop. That's very touching, Joseph.
And that was the foundation.
Oh,
Boys and Girls
well, thank you for sharing that. I'm glad I asked that question. Well, this is a great organization. Again, we're talking with the executive director, Joseph Perry,
Yes.
with the Boys to Men, Girls to Women. I would like to give again the information out to our listening audience. The website is boystwomen, girlstowomen.org.
With the number 2, not
With
the
the
Roman
number
numeral
2.
Right.
With the number 2.
Sure.
Let's see. What else have we not covered? Oh, big one. Fundraisers coming up in 2010. What's going on with the organization in 2010 that maybe, our average listener can get out and maybe help through their time or donations? Tell us more.
What we do and what we're looking to do in 2010, of course, a lot of companies are doing the Save Mart Shares, Food Max Shares program. So if you shop at Save Mart or Food Max, call us. We'll give you a card. And every time you swipe your card at Save Mart or Food Max, I think they said 3% of your purchases come to our organization.
Oh, wonderful.
Isn't that cool?
That is cool.
Hey, I give Save Mart and Food Max a hand for that.
Okay.
So
Sounds good.
that's one thing that you can do immediately that will make a quick impact on our organization is just call us and we'll mail you out a Save Mart Food Max Shares card.
Okay.
And all you have to
Well,
do
that's
is swipe.
a big sponsor.
Sure.
That's a
sure.
huge sponsor.
Absolutely. They're huge.
That's
Okay.
wonderful.
Yeah, but as a matter of fact, we notice we have to send out constant reminders because most people forget to swipe that card.
Well, is it a card or is it a little keychain card?
No, it's a card the size of
Like
a credit card.
credit card?
Yeah, absolutely. You swipe it, so many people are forgetting. So that's
Okay. Maybe you
that's-
need to get those little keychain kind, those little mini kind that are right on your keychain so you think about
Oh,
it.
that's good. I'll call Save Mart and tell
You
them.
like that?
I'll call Save Mart and tell them.
Hey, I made a contribution. Look at that.
So that's one way you can make an immediate impact. Another way is you can become just a $20 a month partner.
Okay.
Okay, $20 a month partner. $20 a month, you will change the life of a child for $20 a month. That's
Okay.
another thing. You can ask for that. Okay,
Uh-huh.
all right. If you own a company, we do company events all the time. Company bowl-a-thons. Okay, where you all of your employees. You take one day where all of your employees will meet us at the bowling center. Okay, and we will bring the kids with you, and you form teams with our kids.
Oh, cool.
And you bowl against one another, but before the date of the bowling, you kind of raise money to sponsor
Sure.
the child. Okay?
Sure.
So it's a fun event because you get a chance to meet the kids up and personal and close.
Gotcha.
Okay, and you guys compete with one another, and it will be called, let's say, the Best Buy Bowl-a-thon, benefiting the Boys to Men, Girls to Women Foundation,
Gotcha.
or the CompUSA Bowl-a-thon, benefiting the Boys and Men Girls Women Foundation. So those
Gotcha.
are fun events. Absolutely.
Okay.
So there's all kinds of stuff. Just call us if you want to get involved.
Okay.
And we have many things going.
Okay, again, we've been talking with Joseph Perry, Boys to Men, Girls to Women online. That is boys to men, girls to women.org, and that is the number 2 in there. We are talking with Joseph about this great organization. If you're just joining us, I'm sorry that you just missed this past nearly hour of information that we've been getting from Joseph here. It's a really, really neat program. In a nutshell, it's focused on education because of the horrible dropout rates in Fresno. I'm just going to kind of recap here, Joseph, and you can correct me or jump in and even take it again if you want to about the overview. But we've just got some horrendous numbers that we're talking about. 6th in the nation. Fresno is 6th in the nation overall. Dropouts.
In school dropout
In
percentage,
school
yes.
dropouts. We are 3rd highest in the nation. In 9th grade.
3rd highest in teen pregnancy.
I'm sorry. See, I knew I'd get my numbers
3rd
mixed up.
highest in
I
teen
took some
pregnancy.
notes, but
Yes.
3rd highest in the nation in teen pregnancies.
sure.
And that's almost a guaranteed dropout for a lot of girls.
Guarantee, sure.
And what was the 9th grade
Ninth
figure?
grade, the highest concentration of dropouts is in the 9th grade.
Isn't that crazy?
Isn't that crazy? Yes, yes.
So it's an intervention. It's an intervention program to get to these kids that are at risk with their grades. You know, for whatever reason, they're just not doing as well as they could. And I'm sure you find this and said this even earlier in the interview, because most are capable of scoring much better grades in school and on their test exams. And so it's getting in there and doing some one-on-one tutoring and getting these kids up to speed before they reach that nasty, for whatever reason, 9th grade year.
Absolutely. And one of the things I want to reiterate too is that a couple things that this is our organization. What makes our organization is great is because it's amazing how much we cross racial barriers. In our organization, okay, it's amazing to see, the African Americans tutoring Caucasians,
interaction,
and Latinos tutoring. It's amazing. Okay, I had one kid with blonde hair and green eyes. Who I kind of personally mentored. Even though I'm the director, I like to stay involved with at least 1 or 2 children.
Oh, good for you.
Because it keeps, it's just what I do.
Well, you see, you'd be a fabulous mentor. I can understand exactly why you're doing it.
So this one kid with blonde hair and blue eyes, I mean, that was just my little buddy. I mean, I would pick him up, and that was just my little homie. I tell you, Uncle Joe. I mean, he would say, Uncle Joe, pick me up, Uncle Joe, pick me up, Uncle Joe. Well, one time I was going to like a relatively formal, semi-formal dinner. And sometimes I like to take some of my kids with me.
Oh, okay.
And he says, I want to go with you, Uncle Joe. I said, okay, I'll come pick you up. He said, but I don't have any clothes to wear, right? I said, well, no problem. I'll take you shopping. And so me being the economical person that I am, I took him to Kmart. My wife and family call me cheap. It's economical. I'm budget conscious. So I took him to Kmart.
Right.
And since I was going to be buying him clothes, I wear for business, the tan pants, the blue shirt, because that's like universal business colors, right?
Okay.
So I was buying him tan pants and a blue shirt. You see? Right? And so he was putting the tan pants and blue shirt on. And remember, this kid, there were several times I would pick up this kid and he would smell like marijuana getting into my car.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, you smell like, well, my mom and dad are there in there smoking. My mom and her boyfriend in there smoking. You follow me? And it was just like, oh my goodness. And it was just nice to pull him away from that for at least a couple of hours. Right. And so when we were at Kmart, I was dressing him, and he goes, Uncle Joe, well, how do you think I look, huh? How do you think I look, right? Because we tried on the clothes. I said, dude, you look good, man. You look good. He goes, you're just saying that. I said, well, don't take my word for it. Why don't you go ask that lady who works? She's working over there, right? So he walks up to the lady, right? And he goes, excuse me, ma'am, do I look nice? She said, ay, mijo, yes, you look very nice, yes. And the blue shirt is cascading from your eyes, the blue shirt in the eyes, right?
Yeah.
Ay, mijo. And so he walks over to the mirror, and I'm at a distance acting like I'm not paying attention, right? but I see him looking in the mirror and just kind of, fixing his belt and checking himself out, right? And then he goes, Uncle Joe. Yeah, I said, yeah. He said, come here. And I stood next to him in the mirror. He goes, look in the mirror. Look. I said, I see it. He goes, I'm going to be looking like you. Blonde hair, blue-eyed kid, right? Isn't that cool? And I'm
That's
African-American.
cute.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's
Because
cute.
we discovered what color is love?
Yeah.
What nationality is love?
Yeah.
You see?
Sounds like a very, very rewarding experience for the volunteers. And as you were telling that story, I thought that's exactly what I want to ask you about next, about the experience for the volunteers, what kind of time they put in. And I know you said you've got college students that are helping you out as well right now, and you just had a whole bunch join your organization. But what about other individuals coming on board?
Well, we asked just for a 6-month to a 1-year commitment.
Okay.
Okay.
And all ages.
And all ages, even grandparents. If you're under the age of 18, we even have office work that you can do. Or if you want to volunteer for organization and you don't want to work with kids, we have a full office that operates. We have a computer graphics department. We have a IT department. We have a public relations department. As a matter of fact, it was my public relations department who scheduled this interview for me. Okay.
Monica, I believe.
Monica, yes. So we have the same thing that you need to run your office. We have running ours, and it is ran by 95% volunteers. Absolutely. So even when people do make cash donations, sometimes people ask, what percentage of my money go to direct services? 95%. We don't hardly have anybody, including myself, who's on payroll there. Okay.
Okay. What about the volunteer that is listening to the program saying, well, it's an academic, based program. I would be helping a child with work. All of the work, the school work is already. There's a program in place that you're working off of that would, I assume, also have tutoring, instructions for the volunteer in place as well.
Focus is academics,
right?
But we also have people who come in and teach dance to the kids if that's something that you do, because we don't do all academics. Okay, you dance, drama, choir, football, basketball. As a matter of fact, some of the funnest times that we have is when it's break time. We all play flag football together, even the girls and the guys, and we split up the teams.
Right.
And those are really, really fun times for these kids. Okay. And then sometimes I get out there, pick a team, we'll play soccer together or something like that.
Right.
So whatever you have to give, it's valuable. Don't ever think that you're just or I can only do or I can only know No. Every piece of you is valuable.
All right.
You see? So and then one good thing about our volunteers, as a matter of fact, another department, volunteer coordinating. Okay? Human resources.
All right.
Right? One good thing about our volunteers is that we work around your schedule.
Okay.
We don't say you can only come in between this time and this time. You give us a schedule. You let us know what time you can come in and work with kids or work in whatever department
or whatever
you want to do, and we work around your schedule.
Gotcha. How many individuals do you currently have on staff, and how many altogether encompassing the volunteers staff as well?
We probably have about 52 people on our schedule.
Okay.
Right now.
All right.
And staff is kind of like a scary word because staff implies people are getting paid.
Well, you said 95%
95% goes 95% go
right.
to volunteers, but the other 5% goes to paying for the building, paying for the books, paying for computers. So we are a 100% volunteer based program.
Right.
Isn't that amazing?
Right. That is amazing. That is amazing that you're doing what you're doing there. Again, if you want to get a hold of Boys to Men, Girls to Women online, boys2men, girls2women.org. Use the number 2. And what's the location again of your office if somebody wants to stop by? I know the students have to go there to register, as probably any volunteer probably has to come fill out some paperwork with you there and find out more. And the phone number as well, please, Joseph.
That's 5150 North 6th Street, Suite 160, Fresno, California, 93710. So if you want to Google it or MapQuest it. And the phone number is 559-225-9300. That's 225-9300.
Cool. Anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
No, I think this was the best interview I've ever had in my life. You're wonderful.
Yay!
She needs a raise. She needs a raise.
Oh, I'll leave that in there for sure then. Well, we won't be editing that comment out. Thank you so much, Joseph. That sounds like just a fabulous, what a neat idea. I love how you're doing it with the rewards and the consequences of bad behavior and all of it.
Yeah,
just sounds
cool?
fabulous. It sounds great. It sounds like I'm sure you're having great success, and I wish you further success in the future with it.
It's working, and thank you so much.
And I hope you get everything you want on your wish list, and your vision, comes true in the future. Okay.
Just 3 buildings. That's all.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you again.
Okay. Bye-bye.